What's up, guys? It's once again, it is mp4podcast.com, bringing you guys some of the most interesting video game news that you guys really do need to know about. Now, Microsoft has come out and said right before E3 or so, they were actually thinking about having the Xbox One be a diskless console. That means there would be no Blu-ray drive, no DVD drive, no CD drive. There'd be no drive at all. And they were really thinking about going completely digital. Which is, in a lot of ways, is kind of a bad thing, I feel, to be going completely digital. Now, let me explain what I want to talk about. A lot of these video games, there's multiple licenses that go into getting rights for this and that. And sometimes companies end up being sold to another company, and things get very complicated, and sometimes games actually start getting pulled from stores like Steam. For instance, the Fallout series, the original Fallout series that came out in the 90s, has gotten removed, I believe, from COG. COG is the digital distribution that's DRM free, the same people that made The Witcher. I think it's called Red Project CD or something, that name of that company. Now, Interplay, they thought they owned the rights to Fallout, the retro version, but Bethesda owns the new version. I think it's Bethesda who made the new Fallout games. So there was some legal problems, and then COG just pulled, Fallout from the COG store, and so on. I remember on Steam, the James Bond games that used the id Tech 3 engine, what people call it the Call of Duty engine. Those got pulled from the Steam store. I guess there was some movie right licensing problem or whatever. But when you own the game on a disc, you own that game. That's it. You own it. I mean, nobody can take it away from you after that point. Another case is a game called Too Human, that game that everybody was talking about, that was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread for the Xbox 360. And when it came out, a lot of people actually didn't like it. Some people actually did like the game. But there was a legal issue with that game. And the legal issue with that game was something to do with the Unreal 3 engine. And they had a problem with Epic Games. And I think there was something like they were claiming that Epic was holding back some information on how to really utilize the Unreal Engine, because they were saying they wanted to keep some secrets for the Unreal Engine so Epic Games would look like the best. It's kind of like what a lot of the Japanese video game console companies used to do. Like Nintendo, PlayStation, and Sega back in the day. They wouldn't release some of the information on the console so their first-party title games would look the best. And then I believe it was maybe Microsoft who started giving out all the information, all the, like how every nick and cranny of every transistor would work in the Xbox 360. They probably did it with the first Xbox, but I remember people were really talking about it a lot with the 360, because that was really the Microsoft console that everybody really did embrace. I guess Sony's doing that now. Sony's going x86. That I'm really happy about that. But remember, when you buy something digital, there is no guarantees that it will be on the store down the future. I remember one of my favorite games I've ever bought for iOS was Terminator Salvation. Yes, the Terminator movie, the Salvation, Terminator, what was it? Terminator 4, basically, from Gameloft, and I absolutely love that game on the iPhone. It was a blast to play. Probably my two favorite iPhone games are Terminator Salvation and the first Spider-Man game from Gameloft. They made a second one that was open world, but I'm talking about just the one that's linear. The Terminator Salvation was a great game, but Gameloft lost the Terminator license, and it had to get pulled from the iOS store. Now, the only way for you guys to get that copy is you had to buy it and then back up the app and onto your computer. You can't get the game anymore, which is kind of sad. And also, I believe it's Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or something got pulled from the PSN store. So if you bought a digital copy and it's not on your hard drive anymore, you can't get it. And this is why I really just don't understand this. If you buy a game, right, you buy it from the digital store, it should always be linked to your account. For instance, I bought Terminator Salvation for iOS. If, the game gets pulled for legal reasons, somebody else who didn't buy it, like they can't buy it anymore. But for the people who bought those games, right, they should still be able to download them from the server. You shouldn't have to deal with backing it up, blah, blah, blah. And I really wish they would implement that. People who bought it can still always have access to it. People who didn't buy it, then, you're SOL. And I'm a little bit worried about the generation after the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and maybe even the Nintendo, whatever the next Nintendo console will be. Will they also go discless? And I hope they don't. We can put all the Wii jokes aside, but let's say the Wii U 2, right, is just as powerful as the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. However, right, it's still a disc-based system. You'll probably have to install the Nintendo games to whatever the hard drive in the console, but you'll still own that game. However, with let's say the Xbox, I don't know what you call it, the Xbox 2 or the PlayStation 5, if those systems go completely discless, I'll probably still get them. But at the same time, there's always in the back of your mind that the games that you buy can be pulled from those stores. And if those games are not on your hard drive, you can no longer get access to them. They'll have to stay on your hard drive. And that's why, like I said, I really wish for people who buy the games that they stay on the servers for those people who bought them. So if you go on with your Xbox Live Gamer Tag or your PSN account or your Steam account, you log in and Steam knows and Xbox knows and PSN knows that, yes, you bought this game, right? You should be able to download it. And like I said, if you didn't buy the game before, then you can't get it. So I'm a little worried about going completely discless. I don't really think it's the best thing in the world for everybody. And also, for historical reasons, it's also a bad idea. How about people who still play Atari 2600 games? Those games, people still have those consoles, those cartridges, they can still play them. They hook them up to the TV and they work. What happens if, who knows what's going to happen in the next 20, 30 years? Will there even be another PlayStation or an Xbox or a Nintendo? Will everything be in the cloud? Will you have to rebuy your games and so on? So going completely discless, I don't really think is a great idea. I still think it's a good idea to, to have the option to buy a physical copy for yourself. I do know that there are people who do prefer to buy digital because it's less hassle with disc and, taking up room, and I completely get that. So if you want to go completely digital, by all means, go completely digital. But for the people who do want to buy physical copies, I do think there should always be that option to buy physical copies. So once again, guys, this has been MP4Podcast.com signing out, and I hope you guys have yourself an awesome day. Later, guys. Bye.